4. Not bad. If you had to single out one machine and say that it formed the 20th century, it would have to be the internal combustion engine. 5. Coming on. And a manifestation of the internal combustion engine really did genuinely give power to the people. It's small, light. I believe I have one with me. There it is, the 2-stroke engine. 2 strokes, that is, as opposed to the 4 strokes that any self-respecting engine would have. That's what gives it its distinctive and, to my mind, horrible sound. This engine didn't so much turn the world as totally infest it. And personally, I hate the buggers. 1. Just enough.
Unfortunately, there are plenty of other folk who just love the 2-stroke engine to bits. In fact, I wish they would. Very little bits. Oh.
Who would have thought that a hardy industrial little engine born out of poverty and necessity would become the leisure engine of the latter part of the 20th century? An engine that gives pleasure to thousands and drives the rest of us completely bananas!
Like all apparently simple inventions, the genius of the 2-stroke is its very inception. At a stroke, or rather 2, it allows you to throw out 3/4 of the moving parts of a 4-stroke engine. When the piston goes up to fire, the vacuum inside here is used to draw fuel and air mixture through the carburetor here. And when it comes back down, it's now compressing all the air in here. And that pressure is used to push the fuel up and onto the top of the piston. So the piston comes up and fires again, and it just goes on and on and on. The simplicity of the 2-stroke engine is much appreciated around these parts. In fact, here is where it can be said to have brought power to the people. In the dark days following World War II, the German economy was in a shambles, and money, especially here behind the Iron Curtain, was tight. There was a desperate need to get industry kick-started, to rebuild and to get people moving. And in the East, they turned to the 2-stroke.
Slight sense of excitement and wonderment today, because we're here at the shrine of the 2-stroke, the Holy of Holies. A car that has driven millions from A to B at very low cost and been the butt of every lousy comedian's terrible jokes for some years. Ladies and gentlemen, I offer you the Trabant. And we're in the why don't you keep your big mouth shut department here, because like a fool I said, I could take the engine out of that. And the director, or the Führer as we call him here, said, well, why don't you, big boy? So, a piece of rubber, as we call it in the trade. Right. Go. We'll have that off, I think. I think this was tightened up by the biggest man in East Germany. Good Lord. Well, that's a lump in it. 6 volts, you know, 6 volts. In Britain, they have a completely different bolt size and everything to do with batteries. You have to have a complete set of spanners just for undoing batteries. Scheiße.
Listen, don't knock the Trabi. It's reliable, efficient, and costs about 1/3 as much as your car to run. The entire car can be dismantled with 5 spanners. Maybe you're the sporting type, or a chrome head. Every model comes completely fitted with an interior.
There you go. Right, now, bish bosh, bish bosh. Bloody hell. That should be just about it, you know. I Eins, zwei, drei, vier. Yeah, Bugger, come on. Oh, James, look at that. That's wonderful. God, man's ingenuity knows no bounds. Fantastic. There's your cylinders, you see? 2 individual cylinders. 2 individual manky cylinders. Fantastic. I wonder if people steal these engines. They're so easy to get out. I wonder if there's gangs of teenage boys going around Leipzig with 4 spanners and very dirty hands. Right then, I think it's about tea break time, boys, is it not?
The new Germany seems to be trying to bury the old Trabi along with its recent past, and I think that's a shame. I mean, how many cars can you name that can do 60 miles to the gallon, need servicing once every 2 years, and have an engine that can be removed by any 20-stone artiste in less than 23 minutes? Of course, if you happen to be a macho speed freak, the Trabant may not be the car for you. No siree, Bob. In the macho speed freak department, the 2-stroke engine features in a very different machine developed in East Germany. What's more, is the subject of a classic tale of Cold War espionage, intrigue and betrayal. The machine in question was developed in the 1950s and built here at the MZ factory in Schoppau. You've got to hand it to the Germans. When it comes to efficiency allied to inventiveness, the history of engineering is littered with them. One such was MZ's chief engineer, Walter Carden. He spent 10 years footering with the 2-stroke engine and turned it from a lawnmower into the fastest motorbike in the world. His ingenious device, the harmonic expansion chamber, allowed much of the exhaust fumes to be ejected from the cylinder before the fresh air and the fuel mixture is pumped in. Ipso facto, more mixture, more power. In the early 60s, Walter Carden's MZs were cleaning up on the European Grand Prix circuit, and the opposition seemed unable to come up with anything to match the flying machines. It was Suzuki who finally solved the problem. They borrowed it. In a pre-arranged deal with the Japanese, Ernst Degner, the MZ's premier rider at the time, mysteriously disappeared halfway through the 1961 Swedish Grand Prix. In fact, Degner had established enough of a lead to be completely out of sight on the far side of the track, where he simply drove off a slip road and into the welcoming arms of the Suzuki rep. Ernst had also had the forethought to stuff his racing jacket with a complete set of the MZ's engineering specifications. Alan Shepard was there that day riding for the MZ team. He can still remember what a body blow Degner's defection was for MZ, and for his friend Walter Carden in particular.
Had Ernst Degner finished in the 125 race in the Swedish Grand Prix at Kristianstad, Walter would have got a first place in the Motorcycle Road Race World Championship. That man was dedicated, and he was an absolute genius.
Although fundamentally they've never improved on Carden's original designs, Japanese motorbikes have ruled the world ever since, and the Swedish Grand Prix signaled the beginning of the end for the German, American and British bike industries as they all collapsed in the face of advancing Japanese technology. BSA did manage one very successful machine during this period, the beautiful little Bantam, so favoured by the postman of Britain, as I recall. BSA sold 400,000 of them, all equipped with a Walter Carden MZ engine. Meanwhile, back in East Germany, my spies told me there were still a few bikes from the original MZ factory to be found. My information led me to the back streets of Chemnitz.
Oh, yes. Oh, please. Oh, that's lovely.
It's
Gosh.
a DKW from 1927.
27?
27.
God.
The gearbox is from England.
Oh, really? What's the gearbox of?
Yes. And we have many problems with British gearboxes.
Oh, I apologise on behalf of everybody in Britain. Were 2-strokes quite common in the 20s then? I thought they were quite rare, the 2-stroke, you know.
2 strokes, yes.
Yeah. A bit of a language problem here.
He was obviously stalling. When I pressed him further, he reluctantly led me through the workshops and out the back.
Yeah. Right.
Attention, a small way.
Yeah. Is this some initiation ceremony? Am I going to have to do a funny handshake? Down at the bottom of the garden.
It's an old fire office here.
Aha. Shame they haven't any spares, eh? Lordy. Lordy, yeah.
So, and here it's our office.
Oh boy. And people think I do this for the money.
Yes. Many money.
Are you sure you've got enough now? Lordy.
This is
the bike?
Yes, this bike is near from Chemnitz, from Chopau. We can this bike, we can it.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's go. I must say I could spend a day in here looking around. Well, you go no, after you.
Okay. So.
Handsome bike. This one's gorgeous as well. That's just. I could move in, you know. I just on my bed in the corner. Sad, isn't it?
No, on the spring up.
Behind the bike shed, he hastily whispered the directions to the MZ factory and wished me what I interpreted as good luck. Even as I left, I knew we'd never meet again.
Oh, there you go. Hey! A fantastic noise. Good boy.
When I finally found the MZ factory, it was empty and derelict.
Well, there you go. Poor old MZ went the same way as a lot of them in the 60s. Norton, Triumph, AJS, Velocet, BSA, Francis Bonnet, Victor.
In the economic grimness of the post-war Eastern Bloc, the two-stroke engine brought cheap, efficient power to the people. But in the West, the emphasis was on pleasure. It was here in Italy that they came up with a use for the two-stroke that actually caught people's imagination.
This is more like it.
In fact, it sold in the millions. What they did was take the two-stroke starter motor out of an aeroplane, bolt it onto 4 foot of tubular steel, and call it a Vespa.
But, importantly, of course, it had to have the Italian style. It was futuristic, it was beautiful, and everybody wanted one. What's more, you didn't have to straddle it, so it saved the nun's modesty. Also, it didn't take the crease out your trousers, very important, and flat out, you could still comb your hair. God bless them, they just can't help it. Oh, that I was 3 years younger. Shit, that was nearly the tree.
Meanwhile, in Britain, the fashion was for model making, and the two-stroke was just perfect. Here was an engine whose mechanical parts were so simple they could be reproduced in miniature and they'd still work. Obviously, to service such an engine, one requires the hands of a fairy watchmaker. That is a cylinder, which is basically just a tube, and that is a piston, which is basically just a wee pot. which fits perfectly in. And this here is your connecting rod, so-called because it connects your small end to your big end. The motion, which is a linear motion, which is just up and down and up and down, up and down, has to be turned into a circular motion to be any use. Bless you, my beautiful assistant. And the connecting rod connects onto a crank like this, and as you can see, this is what happens. The piston goes up and down and up and down, and that linear motion is turned into a circular motion by your crankshaft. Just thought you'd like to know. I love Sundays, don't you? The peace and the quiet, the tranquility of the loch. It's a perfect day for catching fish, perhaps a spot of bird watching, or just taking the helicopter for a walk. You know, come around again, kid.
It's the little tiny ones that cause the annoying noise.
Yeah. The reason the two-stroke engine makes such a delightful noise is that it does everything at twice normal speed. You get power with every second stroke of the piston instead of every 4. So you get lots of power out of smaller, lighter engines. That's why they run so fast. That's why they scream a lot.
Hey, I'm landing.
I wonder if they supply a miniature vomit bag for the passengers as well. Fuel, please, Maestro. This is this the smallest engine they make, Bill?
There is a smaller one. This is a 0.02 cubic inch. There is a 0.01,
Right.
which is actually half that size.
Be careful when you pull that out, Bill. You'll get hauled off the street. It's for my wee motor, honestly, officer. Okay.
Just give it a couple of flicks over just to
Right.
clear its throat.
This throat. I like it.
As you do it.
Are you ready? Contact. That was the engine, by the way. Darn those curries. In the USA, they like their toys a little bigger. The two-stroke engine found its way into dirt bikes, microlights, and frisky little beggars like the snowmobile. I'm only pretending to like it, by the way. Northern California, serious timber territory. They've been cutting down timber here since about the 1870s. And yet, it wasn't until the late 1920s that the mechanical engineers came up with an improvement on this, which is what? A sharp dot of metal on the end of a stick. In 1926, an engineer came up with another use for the two-stroke engine that was to make life a lot easier for the loggers. And wouldn't you just know it, he was German. His name was Andreas Steele, and his contribution to the world was the chainsaw. The world has been on the run ever since. I think I've found the one justification for the two-stroke engine here, because no matter how painful it may be to one's ecological sensitivities, man, we need wood. We can't do without it. Not unless you want to engulf the world in plastic. He's setting the mark that it's going to hit when it falls over. And it's 2 inches wide. Is that cool or what?
Yeah, but we have to hit it.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, put it right in front of that little tree. Normally what we do, we try to gun the tree to a certain area so it doesn't destroy things. Plus, when you have other trees around, it knocks limbs out and can be dangerous. You want to avoid that.
I mean, what roughly, just as a rough guess, does a tree that size weigh?
Oh, man.
What do you think?
I have no idea. But it's heavy. It'll squish you like a bug if you were underneath it.
Can I shout timber, please?
If you want to.
I've always wanted
When it
to.
starts to go,
Yeah.
you say timber and then run.
All right.
Just run.
Right.
Because one of those limbs will kill you.
Excellent. Well, I'll be just over there, Dennis. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, Roland, let's follow this thing.
Okay.
Good job.
So what happens if you take a two-stroke motorcycle engine, add a Walter Carden expansion chamber, and fit it to a chainsaw? It's called a hat saw, and it's used in North American logging competitions. Roland and Dennis are both champions of the art.
It's really a sporty chainsaw.
I'll say. It would appear that the chainsaw is the only absolutely essential application of the two-stroke engine. They do burn oil all the time, and they're very high polluters. In fact, in this state, in California, they're just about to be totally banned. So that's something against them. Also, they make the most irritating noise in the world, which I personally hate. So, on reflection, I still don't like them. So there you have it. Well, it's all very glamorous and show-offy and smart, Alec, but it's not really my kind of engineering. No, I'm sorry, no, it's my turn. No, I'm sorry. No, it's definitely my turn. This gives me no pleasure whatsoever, you know.